Hi employed people and a couple of you unemployed folk. I see you stragglers, you sly dogs. Everyone's welcome for today's lesson, which is Jojo Siwa. I like to think of our collective experience with Jojo Siwa as like a train ride of sorts. Maybe you got on at the Dance Mom station, maybe you got on at the Karma station, but somewhere along the way, let's say you fell asleep. You were suddenly ushered out at this current stop to find yourself staring at this, which may be particularly confusing if you hopped on at any point between 2021 and 2024. I'm hoping this video will give some explanations, provide some clarity. We're now gonna circle back to the very first station, come back around like a boomerang, if you will, so just sit back and enjoy the ride. Oh, also, The Summer I Turned Pretty started airing and I have some thoughts. Oh yes. I don't think I'm gonna make another video, but I feel like I need to converse with y'all. So if you go to the Summer I Turned Pretty video that I posted a few weeks ago, I'll be up in the comments sections sharing my thoughts. So if you wanna go watch that video and then like we can discuss, go check that out, please, please. So whenever I go down an internet rabbit hole and start learning about various famous people, I end up feeling really bad for them, even if they did some messed up stuff, because a lot of these controversial figures seem to have like pretty similar backstories. Maybe they have traumatic pasts, weird adult figures in their life, got famous really young, and Jojo is no exception. Like, yes, she's done some messed up shit, but also I just feel really bad for how she's grown up in this world. I mean, she pretty much had zero childhood. It's one of those stories. So I guess in very general terms, who is Jojo Siwa? She's known for being a dancer slash internet person slash meme slash singer at this point. She's been famous from the time she's 9 years old, and she's currently 22 years old. So even though I feel like she's been around for a while, like at the end of the day, she's only 22 years old today, which is crazy. It seems like from the second Jojo was born, her mother Jessalyn was plotting and scheming about how to make her the next big thing. Jessalyn was a dancing instructor, so her first move was to induct Jojo into the dancing world. From the ripe age of 1.5 to 2 years old, Jojo was already dancing in competitions. Do you hear that? That is crazy! Homegirl just barely learned to walk a few months ago. Not only that, from that same point where she was doing these competitions, Jessalyn was bleaching Jojo's hair as well. There are clips of Jessalyn and Jojo saying these things about Jojo's childhood, on top of the fact that Jessalyn said she would sometimes wake Jojo up in the middle of the night, or maybe wake her up when she was taking a nap or something, in order to have her perform for guests. What in the fuckery was going on here? Conditioning your kid to be a star like a frickin' racehorse is all sorts of unhealthy, but on top of that, listen, I have some personal beef with the whole bleach thing. A lot of people have said that it is like physically harmful for a child of that age to be undergoing like bleach treatments pretty frequently, which is not good. You should not be doing things that would physically harm your 2-year-old child. But also, I have a story for y'all. My longtime best friend Sam has been blonde for as long as I can remember. I mean, I've known her since we were in kindergarten, and she's only ever been blonde. Fast forward years later, I was having this conversation with her about a year or two ago, and she was all like, yeah, I'm gonna get a haircut, a bleach and tone, the usual. And I was like, what do you mean a bleach and tone? And she was like, a bleach and tone? Like a bleach and tone? So I come to find out that day that my friend Sam is not a natural blonde. To say I was gobsmacked would be an understatement. I was like, it's like I don't even know you. And she was like, yeah, a lot of people do it. I mean, I was blonde as a kid, but now I'm more of a brunette. So riddle me this, blonde adults of the world. How many of y'all are living a lie? Not that it really matters at all, like I'm aware it does not. But from that point on, whenever I've seen a blonde in the wild that's an adult, consider me skeptical. Also, I low-key thought you couldn't continuously bleach your hair for like years and years because it would ruin and damage your hair and it would like kill it. But apparently that doesn't seem to be the case because Jojo has been doing it for literally her whole entire life, so I guess I was wrong about that. Anyways, that's all to say that that was the household that Jojo was raised in. From a very young age, she was conditioned to perform. Jessalyn literally said at one point, and I quote, "Nothing is off limits when it comes to doing what I think will benefit Jojo." Great! She's the ultimate stage mom, momager. Jojo said that there's not really a line or any sort of distinction between Jessalyn as a mom and Jessalyn as like a business partner. So yeah, all types of unhealthy and complicated up in there. Jojo was born in Nebraska on May of 2003, meaning she is a couple months older than me. What? We would have been in the same school year had I grown up in Nebraska, which I did not, in fact. Jessalyn was so pedal to the metal with the whole fame thing. Jojo was homeschooled for pretty much her entire life. So like I said before, by the time she was 9, she was already on reality TV, and then her career really took off at the age of 12. Which is so crazy to think about. I mean, 9 and 12, when I was 9, I was playing Foursquare at recess with nary a critical thought in my head. Now that you've got some background, here's where we get to Jojo's initial moments in the limelight. But first. Fun fact, actually really sad fact about me, is that in college I developed insomnia, which was rough. It kind of comes and goes, but I noticed that my sleeping environment, like how dark it is, how quiet it is, the mattress, plays a huge factor when it comes to how much sleep I actually get that night. Emphasis on mattress, because once I changed the mattress I was sleeping on, my sleep improved drastically, which is why I'm so excited to be working with the sponsor of today's video, Helix. Helix makes premium mattresses and recently launched a variety of mattress toppers as well. It can be hard to know which type of mattress will be the best fit for you, but fear not, that's why Helix has a sleep quiz. It asks you questions like what your sleep position is and whether you wake up with back pain, and basically after you share all these things like your body type and your preferences, it determines which of their mattresses will be the best fit for your needs. I was matched with the Helix Sunset mattress in their Luxe collection. When my back felt the sweet, sweet embrace of the Helix Sunset, I legitimately almost cried tears of joy. The mattress I was previously using was a super firm 30-year-old mattress. Personally, I really don't like firm mattresses. I find them hard to get comfortable on, but that is not a problem anymore thanks to Helix, and I actually, in fact, look forward to going to bed, which is definitely new to me after the whole insomnia thing. Now I can get snuggled up like a bug in a rug. And because I'm so comfortable, I'm able to fall asleep quickly, and I don't wake up a lot throughout the night, which I used to do, which means I'm getting more sleep, which means I'm more energized throughout the day, which means I'm living life to the fullest now, which means I'm slaying it up to the max. That's why sleep is so important, y'all. So if you want to take the next step to improving the quality of your sleep and therefore your life, Helix's 4th of July promo is going on right now throughout the month of July, where you can get 27% off site-wide if you use my link helixsleep.com/AmandaTodhunter. They offer convenient shipping right to your door, which is free if you live in the US, and have a 100-night sleep trial where you test the mattress out to ensure that you love it. Thank you so much again to Helix for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. A lot of people know Jojo Siwa through the show Dance Moms. For further context on Dance Moms, I actually already made a video about this if you want to check it out, but basically what you need to know about Jojo's time with that franchise is so Jojo's first appearance was actually on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition Season 2. There were 2 seasons total of that show, by the way, but that was like a spin-off show, competition-based, where a bunch of girls were competing to win a scholarship for this really prestigious ballet dance school. A couple of the girls that joined the team later down the line, like on the actual Dance Mom show, were also featured in Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, like Asia and Kalani, and it seemed to be the stepping stone to getting on the Dance Mom show. And because at that point, Dance Moms was already a really established franchise, the girls were really famous. So Dance Moms is a reality TV series following a group of dancers and their mothers from Pittsburgh as they navigate the dance competition world. The studio is run by this woman named Abby Lee Miller. She's known for being verbally abusive, playing favorites, and dude, her lore goes crazy because she literally went to jail for bankruptcy fraud and got cancer in the same year. Jojo placed 5th in Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, but the producers loved her so much that they brought her onto the actual Dance Moms show, and she stayed on Dance Moms for a couple seasons. However, during this time, she started seeing a lot of success outside of the show because she had begun developing a very recognizable brand and persona, just in general, but mainly on her YouTube channel. And Jojo was encouraged to start a YouTube channel and become an online persona by none other than, trigger warning, Colleen Ballinger. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with Colleen Ballinger as an employed person, but Colleen is known for playing her character called Miranda Sings. I guess you could argue that Colleen is known for making comedy content online, but that's a very generous description. Jojo then started collabing with the likes of Shane Dawson, James Charles, David Dobrik, aka people who are now considered to be the scum of the internet for various reasons. I have videos on a lot of these people if you need that extra content and want to go more in detail on that. But out of everyone I just mentioned, like Shane Dawson, James Charles, whatever, Jojo really seemed to be the most close with Colleen and have like an actual friendship and relationship with her. Colleen recently, like within these past few years, was in very hot water because allegations started circulating about how she had inappropriate relations with fans of hers who were minors at the time. And by inappropriate, it wasn't like necessarily anything physical, but she would have these group chats with her fans where she would discuss the details of her divorce, adult topics like sex positions, just really, really inappropriate conversations to be having with children. And one person who was kind of like spearheading these allegations and like, well, brought forth a lot of the evidence was this guy named Adam McIntyre, and he told the story of how Colleen sent him a lingerie set as a joke. Just the stories he was sharing and the stories other people were sharing were really disturbing, especially considering the fact that, you know, of course it's crossing a line in a professional way, but even more so because these are kids you're talking to. Like that's the main thing here. You can't be discussing these things with children. That's weird, especially when you're a 30-year-old woman having these sort of relationships with teenagers, 15-year-olds. Even younger than that sometimes. And so Colleen decided that the best move on her part was to release an apology video in the form of a ukulele song. The Toxic Gossip Train. It became a huge meme on the internet because of how ridiculous it was. I mean, you really had to be there. I was actually there for this. It was crazy to see. But, you know, in terms of Colleen and Jojo, there are some disturbing clips, and also involving Colleen's sister, Rachel, which is basically like par for the course for Colleen at this point. There was a skit where Colleen, as Miranda, was teaching Jojo how to twerk. There was another clip where Rachel was talking to Jojo about, you know, whether Jojo was a bottom and stuff like that. There's even a clip of Rachel saying that she slid into Jojo's DMs. Like, that was the exact verbiage Rachel used. And that they would cuddle once Jojo turns 18. Mind you, there is a 17-year age difference between Jojo and Colleen. 17. That's a whole dancing queen. And here's the thing with this. Jojo's most recent stance on her relationships with these people like James Charles and Colleen, even though there are clips of Colleen being predatory towards Jojo, there's evidence in the more general sense of these people who she's supporting being predatory to other minors. She continues supporting them, like adamantly supporting them. She went on Howie Mandel's podcast and was gushing about Colleen being a genius and how she's a victim of cancel culture. And Jojo's whole argument in Colleen's defense is super ironic considering how she's saying, whoa, 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 Colleen's not a groomer. Those are lies, and I would know considering I've had a deep intimate connection with her for years, for forever, since I was 12, matter of fact. It's sad to see from the outside looking in just a series of adults exploiting her, from her mom to Abby Lee to Colleen. I mean, it just seems like a pattern that she's been undergoing ever since she was super, super young. We don't see everything, of course, but from the stuff we do have, it's not looking great. But like I said, she speaks positively about all these people, including Abby. Matter of fact, there was a recent reunion of the Dance Moms girls minus Maddie Ziegler, Kenzie Ziegler, and Nia Frazier. And Jojo was throwing major shade at them, saying that they should basically be super, super grateful towards Abby, like shaming them for not talking with her and like keeping up with her, and basically saying that they owe Abby their entire career, which a lot of people were not super thrilled with that take, especially considering that a lot of the people on Dance Moms, like a lot of the girls who were on Dance Moms, have said that that was a really traumatizing part of their lives, and like why should they be thanking their abuser and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I've literally only seen Jojo out of anyone who was on Dance Moms speak positively about Abby, which is super telling in my opinion. Like, I definitely do not blame anyone for not keeping a relationship with Abby. Jojo seems to maintain the position that these adults around her have her best interests at heart, which unfortunately does not seem to be the case. I mean, with Abby, there are really viral moments of Abby yelling at her, making Jojo cry multiple times.
Gia, do you know the order of the solos?
Jojo! Have you learned nothing?
There's also a clip of basically a hazing ritual where Abby asked the current members of the dance team on Dance Moms to say what they liked and what they disliked about Jojo to her face in order for her to join the team. And Jojo's whole reasoning for why she's grateful to Abby and why she continues to have a relationship with Abby is because Abby prepared her for the entertainment industry. However, she potentially fails to consider that Abby is part of the problem and perpetuating the problem. The industry should not be filled with adults who exploit and berate children in the name of entertainment or fame or money. Abby's merely a cog in the fucked up machine. Anyway, getting back on track here, to recap, we've had Jojo's Dance Moms era, her influencer era, and now we're moving on to her entrepreneurship era. These eras aren't mutually exclusive, by the way. There's overlap, but this just makes it easier to organize. But Jojo started making deals with Nickelodeon, making deals with Claire's, and started marketing and capitalizing the fuck out of herself. Her signature look during this time was this super slick side ponytail, which, fun fact, actually really sad fact, I don't know if this is true, if this was just like a rumor the internet made up to bully her, but people were saying that her hairline was like receding on one side because of the severely slicked back ponytail look, which was really sad if that's the case, because I'm sure like that's something that her mom did. Was it not, to, you know, just solidify an image of her? And also, apparently she had a stress rash on her scalp during Dance Moms, which, mind you, her mom was bleaching. So I'm sure that didn't help it and probably irritated it, and all of this for what? Jojo would also wear these really huge bows, and of course, like, we're gonna capitalize on that. And so Jojo started selling these bows in Claire's, and they became super popular. But it wasn't just bows. I mean, literally anything under the sun that you can think of, Jojo was selling in her name. Tons of random items. Her brand became synonymous with rainbows and sparkles. This was also when she released her hit single, Boomerang. I don't really care about what they say, I'ma come back like a boomerang. The music video of this song has over 1 billion views. That's crazy. Then, I can't remember when exactly this was, but there was this very specific moment in time. The internet was really embracing her, and I so vividly remember edits of her as she like debuted this look. And she wasn't into her ponytail, and she was at this baseball game. I don't know, I just have this very specific moment in time where I feel like the internet was really, really ready to embrace her. I guess even for me, even though we're the same age, she's always had a very young demographic because of the whole glitter, sparkles, rainbows, Claire's, Nickelodeon thing. Like, her audience probably skewed very young. On top of the fact where a lot of people thought she was annoying because she was very loud, she was very in your face, and both in her marketing and her personality, it seemed to be the case. But because of Baseballgate, I feel like people who are, you know, my age, her age, a little bit older than that, started seeing her in a new light and being like, oh yeah, this girl's actually pretty cool. It looked like she was maturing. It looked like she was happy. It looked like she was free from the shackles of that big ass bow. Little did we know though, the storm that was gonna hit us later. In 2021, Jojo came out as gay. Initially, she didn't put a label on it, I don't think. The internet really supported her from what I saw, which was really great. A lot of people were like, yep, I saw this coming. Which, I mean, I don't know. But one thing I've noticed about Jojo in her relationships is that she's messy as fuck. She's going full on Ariana Grande. I mean, timelines seem to be overlapping like crazy, back-to-back relationships. There was this really big, like, lesbian drama showdown that seemed to be going down at one point in time. Like, I guess this might have been in 2021. And I remember that seeing this on TikTok from afar, but I wasn't knee deep in the lore. I didn't know what was going on, but I could see that some real drama was going down in the lesbian community, and I really wanted to know what was happening, but I didn't know the full story until I started researching for this video. So basically, long story short, Jojo's first public relationship was with this girl named Kylie, and apparently they met on a cruise and dated for like 9 months. Sort of like they had a little bit of an on again, off again thing, but the people loved them. But when Kylie and Jojo broke up, apparently this breakup coincided with 3 other breakups in the lesbian TikTok community universe, multiverse. Avery and Soph, Sedona and Riley, Alyssa and Samantha, I think. And I also found out that this girl, Alyssa, also dated Renee Rapp at some point, because I couldn't remember the name of the girl who Alyssa dated, so I searched up Alyssa's girlfriend, and the only pictures that I were getting were her and Renee Rapp. So maybe, I don't know what went down with them, but I'm learning so much right now. I think this event is referred to as the lesbian breakup curse. I feel like I'm a dad that recently learned Gen Z slang and is trying to explain it to his coworkers. It's like, oh yes, I believe this is what the kids refer to as skibbity toiletries. So here's where shit gets messy. Cause I'm too messy. Jojo and Avery get together. So, you know, we have all of these couples breaking up, and so now we're like mixing and matching them, okay? So like lock in right here. Jojo and Avery get together. Soph and Alyssa get together. Soph and Avery recently broke up, okay? So that's where that pair is. However, when these two pairs, aka Jojo and Avery and Soph and Alyssa, went to, I think, a party that all the gays were at, it seemed like the gays were more so hanging out with Jojo and Avery, maybe because they were like the next hot thing. I don't know if there was beef there, I don't know what was going down, but this was like worlds colliding, right? Because all these people break up and then mix and match pretty much almost immediately after. And then Avery and JoJo were making a lot of content together on TikTok and whatnot. But then, apparently, after dating for, it wasn't even that long, it was probably like 2 or 3 months, apparently they broke up on a cruise. What is it with JoJo and these cruises? Again, with the fucking cruises. One thing about JoJo and her girlfriends is that there will be a cruise involved as well as a trip to Disney. After the breakup, JoJo got back with her ex Kylie, and apparently the reason that JoJo broke up with Avery was because she was like already pursuing things with Kylie, very messy. So basically she left Avery for Kylie, and then Avery got back with her ex Steph. I know. And the breakup itself between Avery and JoJo was very messy. Avery would do these story times on TikTok talking about an unnamed ex, which everyone assumed was JoJo because of various timeline reasons. And Avery was saying how allegedly JoJo was toxic and crossing boundaries by flirting with her ex and made Avery cry all the time. On the other hand, JoJo was saying that she got used for clout and views.
Why are you mad? Why are you mad?
Because I got used
For what?
for views
Aww.
and for clout. And I got tricked into being told that I was loved. And I got played.
And this was a crash out that her mom recorded and posted on her own Instagram story, which people were saying, like, that's rude. You know, I don't know if this is a bit or not, but JoJo's crying, and if she's, like, genuinely crashing out, why as a mother are you recording this and posting it on your story? Kind of crazy, kind of whack. But regardless, one thing about the Siwas is that they've got the ultimate clout chaser mentality. Matter of fact, JoJo lied about her dad being in critical condition after being hit by a bus just to make a vlog more entertaining. There was also roast beef gate, where Avery cut up a roast beef sandwich on TikTok, and then immediately after, JoJo ate a roast beef sandwich on TikTok using the same song that Avery used. It seems like you had to be there. I don't really know how people felt about this whirlwind of a relationship. I saw some people saying that they thought it was weird that Avery started to begin acting like JoJo, dressing up like her. People were saying it was weird because, like, maybe she was plotting on JoJo because Avery was a fan of her beforehand. So hey, maybe the clout chaser rumors and allegations aren't that far off. But then people were saying that JoJo did not treat Avery well, and there's clips of that. There's a clip of JoJo shoving ice cream in Avery's face. A few fun facts I want to rapid fire at you before we get into this next era. JoJo and Jenna Johnson were the first same-sex pair on Dancing with the Stars, and they ended up getting second place. In April of 2022, JoJo ditched her signature ponytail look for some short hair energy. She's practicing her singing. She has several cars with her face plastered over them, which Justin Bieber said to burn 3 different times. She posted Draco thirst traps. And finally, she pretended to be pregnant on Snapchat for a whole month. It wasn't super serious, like it seemed more like Snapchat clickbait. I mean, I had Snapchat at the time, and I would like swipe to the area where you see all the famous people, like a preview of famous people stories, and she was always like fucking pregnant. Apparently, Snapchat is pretty lucrative for influencers. I don't really know how it works because I don't use Snapchat for that, but that's what I thought she was doing. I thought she was trying to make her bag on Snapchat. But anyways, it was still a weird time. And then after JoJo's breakup with Avery, JoJo seemed to become very kid obsessed. Like there was the whole fake pregnancy thing. But on top of that, she had a fake tattoo sleeve for a second and was gushing about her hypothetical children, who she had already named Freddie, Eddie, and Teddy, and are apparently incoming immediately. Like these kids are soon to enter this world because she has a sperm donor already lined up. So there were just a lot of interviews going around where people were like, what the fuck is JoJo talking about? So while she was doing all of these crazy interviews, and while she was teasing her next bad girl era, which I of course am going to discuss with you in a second, some people are saying that that whole mess of a publicity thing was a cover-up for this next scandal, the ex-OMG Pop scandal. So JoJo had this show called Siwa's Dance Pop Revolution, which was supposed to be apparently a more lighthearted Dance Moms, I guess, but they were trying to curate the next big girl group sensation. So they had all these girls competing to get a spot and become a member of this girl group called XOMG Pop. Okay, cat's eye. But a Rolling Stones article was published around this time where JoJo was saying all these like baby things and like going into her bad girl era, where a previous member of this group spoke out about her time on the show and being a part of this girl group, and alleged that JoJo and Jesselyn created a very toxic environment, pitted the girls against each other, were ableist, called the girls names, overworked the girls. Which, if you're familiar with Dance Bombs, it is textbook Abby Lee Miller behavior. But as someone who wasn't really in the know during this time, I'd say that this expose was pretty much overshadowed by JoJo's rebrand. Like, I really did not see a lot of negative publicity about JoJo, about this controversy during this time. Like, literally all I saw was everybody talking about her rebrand. It seems like JoJo, or perhaps Jesselyn, always wanted JoJo to be the next Hannah Montana or the next Britney Spears. I feel like I've heard them say that a lot. So what they did in terms of keeping JoJo relevant is curate and craft this bad girl era for JoJo, where she would go from being like super kid friendly, rainbow sparkles, yada Claire's Nickelodeon, to I was a bad girl, I did some bad things. Trigger warning, baddie alert. She even posted this teaser. So basically the bad girl era is when JoJo releases this song Karma and a music video to go along with it, which was supposed to be like this huge, oh my god. So basically, like, here, listen, here's the literal teaser trigger warning that was posted before any of the song or the music video was released. Warning, the following content is not made for children and may be disturbing or offensive to some viewers, may contain sexual themes, violence, strong language, traumatic scenarios, and flashing lights. Viewer discretion is advised. So this definitely piqued everyone's interest. Turns out all of this hootin' and hollerin' was over JoJo's song Karma.
Oh my god, she's raspy today.
Karma's a bitch. I should've known better. If I had a wish, I would've never effed around. Listen, what can I say? I'm a bad girl. There's bitch in my song title and chorus, but you know, I draw the line at saying fuck. She released this music video to go with it where she's dry humping people and whatnot, and then she wore this same outfit on the red carpet. Dream guest on my podcast. There was some drama because people realized JoJo didn't write the song herself. Not that she really ever claimed to, like, maybe she potentially alluded to have been involved in the writing process, but originally it was actually written for Miley Cyrus, but then was given to the singer named Britt Smith, who originally released her version of Karma in 2012, and actually a lot of people, including myself, liked Britt's version better, so much so that it surpassed JoJo's version of Karma on iTunes, which was hilarious. There was also this viral Karma dance that people like to recreate because it looked super dumb. In terms of JoJo's other songs, there's Yesterday's, Tomorrow's, Today, which I completely forgot about until I was making this video. But I do remember some TikToks about that. There's Choose Your Fighter, which originally seemed to be using a whole different singer's vocals for the song. And the original singer was Emmeline's vocals, and JoJo was trying to frame it as if she was the one singing the song herself, which was kind of crazy. So to recap, I would say public perception of JoJo was at its peak right around the time she came out and, you know, of course went to that frickin' baseball game. But after XOMG Pop and Karma, everyone just kept being like, JoJo, no. JoJo, no. Because Jesselyn and JoJo at their core are clout chasers, they know how to cause a stir, they know how to get the people talking. How much of JoJo and how she presents herself and how she appears to be online is real, how much is not real, who's really to say. But JoJo's attempt at being a bad girl and trying to replicate the romanticized crash outs of childhood stars by grinding on people and sticking her hands in her pants on stage and being really far up her own ass, so much so that she says that she's the CEO of gay pop, that turned the people against her a little bit, yeah. Is one of the most childlike adult transformations on record. So in terms of how this aligns with her and her labeling herself. Jojo originally came out and didn't really label herself, but after her string of girlfriends and after Karma, where she, I feel like, really leaned into being gay, I think somewhere along the way she clarified her sexuality as being a lesbian. To be clear, she was the self-appointed CEO of gay pop. The gays didn't seem to be all that amused. In fact, when JoJo got drunk at Disney for her 21st birthday and tried to start a sing-along of her recently released song Karma, nobody really joined in. Now we pretty much get to present day, which here's the tea with the whole tradwife debacle. JoJo started dating someone named Kath. JoJo then went onto this show, reality competition show, I don't really know, called Celebrity Big Brother. I have heard of Big Brother, but I don't really know what it is. I'm gonna be so honest. But during this show, this guy named Mickey Rourke was super homophobic to her, calling her the F slur, saying he would tie her up if they stayed on the show and she was still gay, which was a crazy thing to say. He seems like a dude with a lot of problems and was kicked off of the show for his behavior, not only to JoJo, but to various other people on the show as well. But anyways, there was this guy named Chris Hughes who was known for being on a season of Love Island, so he was also on the show Big Brother with all of them. And Chris came to JoJo's defense when Mickey was berating her and just like sat and comforted her, and the two seemed to get really close really quickly, to the point where they were like sharing the same bed and doing some questionable stuff that didn't seem platonic. And it was not a surprise where really soon after Big Brother stopped, like the Big Brother finale aired, they pretty much got right into a relationship. I mean, it looked like the blossomings of a relationship on the actual show. This was a shock for two reasons. A, JoJo is a lesbian, and B, she is currently in a relationship. After JoJo dressed up recently like a tradwife to sing her very raspy rendition of Betty Davis Eyes, this is what it sounds like. A lot of people were worried that JoJo was swinging too far in like the conservative direction. I mean, she really seems to pendulum swing to the extremes. Like, you're either getting this or you're getting this. She then recently clarified her sexual identity, saying, I feel like so queer, do you know what I mean? I think that's the thing. I've always told myself I'm a lesbian, and I think being here I've realized, oh, I'm not a lesbian, I'm queer, and I think that's really cool. Fuck the L, I'm going to the Q. When I came out at 17, I said I'm pansexual because I don't care about gender, but then I kind of boxed myself in and said I'm a lesbian, and I think I did that because of pressure. And then JoJo said that she felt that the pressure came in a weird way from inside the LGBTQ community at times, from people I know, from partners I've had. You just get put in this world where you feel like, because now you've said I'm a lesbian, you have to be a lesbian, and the truth is, sexuality is fluid. So people had a lot of thoughts about this, and I don't feel like I'm the person to speak on this, but I will tell you what in general the people are saying. It seems that in general, the gays wish that JoJo was a bit more careful with her words, because saying things like she hates the sound of the word lesbian, which I didn't quote, but she has said that in like an interview, and the whole fuck the L and going to the Q thing can play into homophobic and like anti-lesbian agendas and narratives that people are actively trying to perpetuate currently. But don't get it twisted. Here's the thing. People aren't mad that JoJo's dating a guy now. Like, it's not the whole, like, once you say, it's completely normal and okay and acceptable to experiment with your sexuality, and you're gonna learn new things about yourself as you age. I mean, she's only 22. No, the whole thing that people are mad about is the fact that you can't do that when you're actively in a relationship with someone, JoJo. That is cheating. You cheated on live television with a man who's 10 years your senior. You started this relationship with a man after someone insulted you for being gay, which it's just ironic. It's not, you know, obviously she isn't proving Mickey right or anything. The people who are saying that are just like really dumb. I mean, again, like, the whole Chris being 10 years her senior thing and the whole knight in shining armor, it's just like, I know it does worry me a bit. I don't know if this is yet another one of those situations where JoJo is being exploited by someone older than her. I don't really know how the people feel about JoJo and Chris. I mean, recently I saw a TikTok that was super traumatizing to me, so I'm going to show it to you so that we can share in this trauma together.
Yeah, she's mentioned those names before.
What was
Brandy
your
and Ted,
reaction to that?
Well, she calls my balls Jimmy and Timmy, so that is, so she must like. Jimmy and Timmy. So she kind of like, she must love like the rhyming lingo within her life.
Why would he say that? The reaction, look at these pictures. They were taking me out. Oh my good God. Y'all are too funny. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole train ride. I mean, Jojo, she didn't like spontaneously turn straight. She's still gay. She's just dating a man right now. Oh, also, I saw another TikTok really recently, like literally this morning, where she said that she's no longer set on the names of Freddie, Eddie, and Teddy. She has switched to Silver Siwa. I think, you know, Jojo very, very much reminds me of Trisha Paytas. I feel like they feel really similar to me. And I do have similar thoughts on both of them. Like I can't really fully embrace them after hearing some of the stuff that they've done in the past. But again, I do have a lot of sympathy and empathy for them given, you know, the stuff that they've been through in the past and their background. And of course, I'm happy to see like growth and change for the better. And I think in general, Jojo seems to very much at this point be shaped by the people she looks up to. I mean, we see aspects of her mom and herself, like in how Jojo goes about navigating fame. And we see bits of Abby Lee in the whole OMG Pop thing. And, you know, she's still defending Colleen. So I've seen a lot of videos on Jojo Siwa in doing and looking up stuff about her for this video, and I've seen a lot of people say that they think that in maybe like 10 years time or something, Jojo is going to look back and like wake up from this and, you know, write a book like the whole Jeanette McCurdy one, I'm Glad My Mom Died, and completely reframe the way that she looks at her childhood compared to how she does right now, where she's like praising all these people who seem to have exploited her and not had her best interest at heart. And I really don't know. Like, I'm not super convinced that that's something that's gonna happen, but like if it does, that would be a good thing. I mean, that would be acknowledging the traumas of her past and hopefully like finding better for herself and not associating with people who would do that to her. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Jojo? Did you learn anything new? I hope at the very least that this was informative. Let me know if I missed anything major. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all are doing well. I will talk to you later. Bye!